Hello students, welcome back to your computer science class. We are doing chapter 11, lists manipulation, and we started learning 2D lists last class. Today we will learn how to make a 2D list and accept elements from the user. Let's start. Okay. Here I'm going to take elements from the user. Empty list has been created, and now I am going to take information from the user about the number of rows and columns that they want in this list. So I will ask uh, how many rows, and so my variable name I have named as R, and over here I'm going to ask how many columns, and this variable name will be C. Now, after how many names, how many rows and how many columns, my user has only given me a number over here, not the elements of the list. So I'm going to make a nested for loop so that I can make a I can enter the data inside my list. So I will say for I in range. And in my range, I'm going to use my R, that is the number of rows that my user has asked me to keep. Okay, and now over here I'm creating a new list called row, and then I'm saying for I in you can use the same but I prefer to use different because of problems created for J in range C, that is columns. And then I'm going to say element equals to integer input element plus, in the string format I'm using my data typecasting method over here, just to explain to my user where my user is putting in the data. I'm just asking the user what element he wants to enter in row 0 column 1, row 0 column 2, like that. Okay, and then whatever my user is telling me, I'm adding it in my row. I'm saying row dot append, and in the bracket I'm going to put the element. And finally, after all the columns of that row have been added, I am going to add that particular row list to my main list. Okay, and just so that we can see what was happening, I'm just going to print it out. So I'm going to say, after leaving a line, list that you created is, and then I will just print the list. Okay. Now first let's run it, see it, and after that I will explain you. So let's say 3 rows and 3 columns, or 4 columns, just to explain. So element 0 0. Okay. So see this, the list that I created is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3. Okay, now let me explain to you exactly what happened over here. Okay, so number one, I asked the user how many rows does he want. So let's say the user said 4 rows. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Okay, and remember the elements, even if I say 4 rows, the element value is always 0, 1, 2, 3. So over here, the user has entered 4 columns. Let's say user said 2. Okay, so for I in range R, so over here it will be 4 that is entered by the user R, but you know 4 will not be included. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So automatically 4 rows are created with the first one at index 0. Similarly, over here I created an empty list row. That means I just created this list, okay, called row. Then I asked my user, what do you want to put in 0, 0? Because I have written range C, 2 is my C, 2 is my C over here. In my 2, I will have 0, comma 1. I will not have the number 2. That means 2 elements will go. I told the user string I, string j. I became 0. J I got from here again 0. So element 0, 0. What do you want to put in element 0, 0? Let's say my user said number 2 and then he said number 3. Now, once I in range C, that means it will ask only 2 times. And once I have put the numbers 2 and 3, which have been appended to my row over here, I am finally adding this row to this list. That means technically, this, when I made this row element, I made the row element at a different place. I added 2 and 3 over here. And then I finally added this over here. That is 2 and 3. And then when this for loop ran again, I had a blank row again. I again added the numbers that my user gave me. And then because of this line, I go and put it in my list. So this is my list, which has lists on every row. Okay. Let's see it again. How many rows? 4. How many columns? 2. 11, 0, 0. So I say 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 1, 5. See, it made a list of lists. This entire thing was 1 row, 2nd row, 3rd row, 4th row. Okay. Is this now clear to you? All right. Okay. Now we will continue learning how to traverse this list. This we have learned how to create this list. Now we will learn how to traverse this list. That means how do I print this entire list? So we already have the list created is. I'm not printing the list in the list form. Now I'm going to print it in a different form. I'm going to say we already know this now. For I in range R, We again take a nested loop for I in range R and for J in range C. And I'm going to print. What is the name of my list? List. In the space of I, in the space of J. And let's print every element on one line. Okay. Let's run this and see what happens. For this, we'll have to first give the values. 4 rows, 2 columns. The list you created is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, 1, 2 looks like 12. That means because of my this end, I think so. Let's put a little tab here, I think. Now let's run this. 4 rows, 2 columns. Why is it coming like that? Yeah, the list I created is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means 4 rows and 2 columns. Now suppose I do one more list over here only. This time I'm saying 2 rows and 4 columns. See, can you see how different it looks? So this was creating a list as well as traversing a list. Now, next class, we will see a few more programs about list. After that, you've already done the menu driven program of the list. So you should be able to do everything after this. Solve the question and answers at the back of the chapter so that you can attempt your exam comfortably. With this, children, I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, keep learning. Thank you.